People that work in the wedding industry, have you ever seen a couple and immediately thought, this ends in divorce? Why? I worked at a hotel in the kitchen. We did a trashy wedding where the cake was brought in from Walmart. Groom was caught making out with a bridesmaid in a conference room. And we saw the bride throw her ring into a storm drain across the street. I had a buddy who put himself through grad school playing violin at weddings. He said there were several, that everybody knew it was the wrong choice. He said you could just see it in their eyes and how they walked. I work in a hotel. I came in one night to find the wedding was already wrapped up. It was supposed to go until 1 a.m. and it was 11 p.m. because the wedding couple had a fight and she went home with mom. At another one, they had a huge rehearsal dinner fight which spilled out into the lobby. Everyone in the lobby found out that she hated his parents, she was pregnant, and she had no idea who the father was, and a few other things. Half the guest list packed up and checked out the next day. They still got married. I worked fine dining and catering for over 20 years. So I've worked lots of weddings and receptions. I once heard a bride at the reception during the toasts say that she actually thought she was asking out the groom's twin brother on their first date, and that might actually be cute. Except she just kept going on. How the twin was more compatible, etc. Then she ended the toast with, "Well, as nice as you are, you make a great first husband." I was walking past the cameraman at that time, and you can hear me on tape saying, "Did you get that? Tell me you got that." Catered weddings for a year or so. Here's some of the more batshit ones off the top of my head. 1. Entire wedding party dropped Molly about an hour into the wedding. Bride was colossally fucked up while the groom looked like he shit himself while staring at the alpacas they hired to take pictures with. Yes, they hired alpacas. No, I don't know why. 2. Bridezilla screamed at our serving team for serving too much chicken and not leaving enough for her after she refused to eat until 3 hours past dinner service. Groom was nowhere to be found after that. 3. Bride's mom tried to fuck one of our chefs, a very good-looking 6'3" Italian man. Bride had to pull her away from the kitchen 2 times, causing a fun argument between the bride's mom and dad. Bride started crying, and the groom decided to disappear to go take a few shots instead of comforting his wife. Not necessarily a divorce between the happy couple, but while working weddings one summer I saw the best man and maid of honor walk out of the same bathroom like 10 seconds apart. So I've always wondered how that went over. I used to work at a popular wedding venue. Bride and groom came in the day before for rehearsal, checked the decorations, and played a sweet video of the couple, standard wedding bullshit. Next day, bride and groom arrived fighting the entire time until reception, where the groom proceeded to drink himself blind before speeches and had to be carried out, didn't even get to play that video. It was the best shift ever, got to go home early and take home a bunch of food already paid for. Not actually in the industry, but I have helped out a friend with a few weddings. 2 of the weddings I could just tell they weren't going to make it. The first wedding the bride and groom hardly talked the entire wedding. It was like they had nothing in common. And then later the groom pretty much fucks off halfway through and went home because I quote he was tired. So he just left his bride having to take pictures with the wedding guests on her own. He never came back that evening, so she had to greet everyone off, etc. Funny enough, about a year later I heard they're filing for divorce. Another time was actually last summer. Just before the wedding speeches the groom went go hang out with his friends for like half an hour, leaving the bride sitting there alone and delaying the speeches. Then right after the bride and groom cut the cake he once again went to go hang out with his friends and abandoned his wife. So she was left alone having to mingle with all the guests and he made no interaction with her side of the guests. He stuck with his friends the rest of the evening. His wife basically had to go and beg him to come and take more wedding pictures. At one point in the evening he actually went for a drive with his friends for about an hour and his wife had no idea where he was. I work in the industry, side hobby, and I saw it before entering. Recent husband came to me, a total stranger to him, and asked what I would do if I found my fiancée screwing her dance partner 3 weeks before the wedding. I just shook my head and walked away. Not sure if this belongs here, since I'm really sure that they got divorced after, but anyway. I was helping out at my parents' restaurant where a huge wedding party was hosted. I was busy serving drinks and suddenly loud yelling and screaming started right behind me. Turns out the bride had somehow found out that the groom had hooked up with her sister right before the wedding ceremony, and apparently on a few occasions before, and in her anger, she stabbed him in the chest with a dinner fork several times. We had to call an ambulance and the police. It was like hell. Thanks for watching Opinion on Reddit. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell icon. Are you in the wedding industry? Share with us a couple you've seen and immediately thought, "This ends in divorce and the reason why," in the comments below.